So what is CI/CD? If you're like me, you've sat through explanations of CI/CD that somehow made it feel more confusing than before you started. So today, I want to break it down the way I wish someone had explained it to me. The short, high-level explanation: CI/CD is a practice that helps developers push new features or fixes to users quickly, without breaking things along the way. But what does that actually mean in practice? Let me give you an example. Depending on their size and who the stakeholders are, some want to release once a quarter, others once a month, and some prefer to push updates almost daily. But regardless of how often they release, the one thing that they all care about is, can we trust the deployment process? And if something goes wrong, how quickly can we roll it back? I learned exactly why that matters. A client once asked for last-minute changes right before a major live event. We made the changes, but missed a couple of critical variables. Next thing we knew, we were scrambling, deploying multiple hotfixes, while real users were active on the application, trying not to skip a step, and honestly just hoping we didn't make things worse. It was nerve-wracking, to say the least. There's a very specific kind of panic that comes with breaking something in production. What saved us was having a reliable CI/CD pipeline. It made sure every step of the deployment was followed automatically. So even under that kind of pressure, we weren't cutting corners or missing anything. To give you an idea of the scale, for one client alone, we'd burn through GitHub Pro Plan's 3,000 runs in about a week and a half. Each run could be a build and test workflow, a semantic release commit, or a Terraform preview to check if a new feature needed any infrastructure changes. That's how fast things were moving. But to really understand why CI/CD exists, let's rewind a little bit. Before it became a standard practice, teams deployed software in all kinds of ways, like manually copying files to a production server straight from a workstation, or relying on a designated person with a set of handcrafted shell scripts. Every deployment was slightly different depending on who ran it. And the more manual the process, the less frequently teams would deploy, which means each release got larger. And the larger each release, the riskier it became. Meanwhile, stakeholders were waiting for weeks on end. Features that were promised still were not live. And when they finally did ship, something would break, or the product was already a step behind the competition. Without a CI/CD pipeline, life is slow, stressful, and unpredictable. The fix? Deploy small, deploy often. So what exactly is CI/CD? CI/CD stands for Continuous Integration and Continuous Delivery, or sometimes Continuous Deployment. So let's break those apart, because people mix them up all the time. CI, or Continuous Integration, is about merging changes into an existing codebase frequently and validating them automatically. Every time a developer pushes a new feature or a fix, the pipeline automatically runs tests, builds the application, and tells you if it passed or failed. The goal is simple: catch bugs early, before they pile up. Now CD stands for Continuous Delivery and or Continuous Deployment. You'll hear both, and they're related. But the difference really comes down to one thing: who makes the final call before code reaches your users? A human or the pipeline itself? Continuous delivery means once the code passes all checks, it's automatically prepared and deployed to a staging environment, ready for production. The only thing left is a human approving that final push. Continuous deployment, on the other hand, goes one step further. The code goes all the way to production automatically, with no manual approval needed. The pipeline handles everything. So CD, whether delivery or deployment, is really just about getting your code from that CI stage all the way to your users, as smoothly and automatically as possible. The choice between the two comes down to your team's risk tolerance and how much you trust your automation. Now, these concepts don't exist without tools to actually run them. For CI, building, testing, and validating your code, GitHub Actions and GitLab CI/CD are the most beginner-friendly starting points, especially if your code is already on either platform. Jenkins, on the other hand, is one of the most established options and gives you a lot of control, though it needs more effort to set it up. If you're in the cloud, Azure Pipelines and AWS CodePipeline are worth knowing. Now for CD, actually deploying and releasing to your environments, Octopus Deploy and Spinnaker are built specifically for that. ArgoCD is worth knowing if you're working with Kubernetes. Worth noting though, tools like GitHub Actions and GitLab CI/CD actually handle both CI and CD, which is why they're often the go-to choice for smaller teams or anyone just getting started. These are tools I personally work with, and they're a solid starting point depending on where you are in your journey. And if you need any help with any of these tools, drop a comment below and I'll see what I can do. CI/CD isn't just a developer-specific tool. It benefits everyone involved in shipping software. Developers spend less time dealing with broken builds and painful last-minute merges because integration happens continuously rather than all at once at the end. QA and testers get automated test results on every single commit. No more manual regression testing before every release. Operations team stops doing risky manual deployments because the pipeline handles every step the same way, every time, no missed steps. No corners cut under pressure. And if something goes wrong, rolling back to a previous working version is just as fast and controlled as deploying forward. Product managers and stakeholders see features delivered faster and can give feedback earlier, which means less wasted effort building the wrong thing. Going back to my story, the reason we could say yes to those last-minute changes and move quickly wasn't just confidence in our code, it was confidence in our pipeline. So to summarize, CI/CD's main purpose is to create a fast, reliable feedback loop. Every code change is automatically validated and delivered quickly, giving every team the confidence to ship frequently without breaking things. Consistency is a big part of that. It doesn't matter when or who triggers a deployment. Whether it's 2 p.m. on a Tuesday or the middle of a live event, every step runs exactly the same way, every single time. No steps skipped, no corners cut. It's what separates teams that are constantly firefighting from teams that ship with confidence. If you're a developer, advocate for it. If you're a stakeholder or manager, invest in it. The returns in speed, reliability, and team sanity are absolutely worth it. So, I hope you learned something new today.